All right, let's jump right in. I want you to think about something for a second. What if the path to enlightenment, to a kind of divine union, wasn't about learning more, but about forgetting? Yeah, forgetting everything. That's the wild and honestly pretty counterintuitive idea we're diving into today, straight from the Christian mystic St. John of the Cross. It's this concept of achieving a higher state by just completely emptying your memory. It's a radical idea. And look, he does not pull any punches. This quote right here, this is the heart of the whole thing. There is no way to union with God without annihilating the memory as to all forms. I mean, wow, annihilating. That's a strong word, right? Frankly, it sounds a little crazy, maybe even impossible. But for St. John of the Cross, this isn't just an option, it's the only way. So the big questions are, how on earth do you do that? And why would you even want? Okay, so first things first, we've got to wrap our heads around the why. Why is our memory, the thing we use every single second of every single day to function, why is that seen as the big obstacle? Why is it a wall between us and this higher spiritual state? And this really lays out the two sides of the coin. You've got your natural memory on one side. It's messy, right? It's filled with sights, sounds, facts, what the text calls forms. It's cluttered, it's imperfect. Then you've got the goal, a purified memory. It's the complete opposite. It's empty, clear, without form. And the whole idea here is that only this blank slate, this purified state, can actually connect with God. So here's the absolute core of the argument. You can't fit something infinite and formless, like God, into a mind that's already jam-packed with finite, specific things. All our knowledge, all our memories, they're like little boxes, and God can't be put in a box. So, to make room for the supernatural, you've got to clear out all the natural stuff first. It's like they say, you can't pour an ocean into a cup that's already full of, well, anything. Okay, so that's the why. Now for the really tricky part, the how. If the goal is to literally empty your mind, what does that actually look like? What are the steps? And believe me, this isn't some passive meditation. It's a really active, really rigorous practice. So here's the playbook, the 3-step process. Step 1, you have to stop storing new stuff. Don't let the things you see, hear, taste, whatever, don't let them stick around in your memory. Step 2, you've got to be proactive about it. The moment you perceive something, you actively work to forget it. Just let it go. And the final step, the goal, is to just stay in that state of emptiness, to have a mind that's so clear it's as if nothing had ever even passed through it. Wild, right? Now, I'm sure the same thought is crossing your mind that crossed mine. It sounds like you'd be destroying your own mind, right? It brings up a huge, very practical question about what this actually does to a person who tries it. Exactly. I mean, think about it. If you're actively trying to forget everything, how do you get through your day? How do you remember to show up for work or call your mom on her birthday or even just, eat? Wouldn't this just turn you into someone who can't function at all? Well, the text anticipates this objection and it tackles it directly. The key idea here is that this isn't about destruction, it's about perfection. The goal isn't to erase who you are, it's to elevate your nature, to transform it into something more. Think of it less as demolition and more as a complete, top-to-bottom renovation. But, and this is a big but, that transformation isn't exactly a smooth ride. The teaching is super clear that the transition from your normal, natural state to this supernatural one can be, pretty jarring. The beginning of this process can have some really strange, really profound impacts on your everyday life. And this is where it gets really wild. We're talking about a great forgetfulness setting in. Seriously, at the beginning of this process, people can experience these huge memory lapses. The text gives examples like forgetting to eat or drink, or someone tells you to do something, and a second later, it's just gone. It's this incredibly intense transitional period where the old mental operating system is shutting down before the new one is fully booted up. But here's the key. This state of extreme forgetfulness is supposed to be temporary. It's just a phase. As the person gets more accustomed to this state of union, as it becomes second nature, those lapses fade away. But the soul doesn't just go back to the old way of doing things. No. Instead, its operations get a massive upgrade. They become supernatural. So, what's on the other side? What does this all lead to? After all that work of forgetting and emptying, what's the end game? Well, it's not just about having a blank mind. It's about a total transformation. You could call it a A divine upgrade. And here it is. This is the payoff. Every part of you, your mind, your will, your memory, they all become divine. They're basically operated by God's will now. You're freed from all the junk that comes with our normal memory, the doubt, the mistakes, the baggage. It's exactly like your soul's entire operating system gets a complete overhaul, from natural to supernatural. Okay, I know this all sounds incredibly abstract, right? So let's bring it down to earth. What does this actually look like in practice? How does a person who has achieved this actually go about their day? Check out this example from the text. Let's say a friend asks you, "Hey, can you pray for me?" Normally, you'd make a mental note, right? You'd try to remember to do it later, but in this new transformed state, you don't. You don't have to remember. Instead, at the perfect moment, God will simply move your soul to pray for that person. It's a fundamental shift. You're no longer pulling information from your memory, you're pushed by a divine impulse to act. And this isn't just about prayer, this applies to everything. All of the person's actions become fitting and reasonable, as the text says, but they're not coming from their own thoughts or their own memories anymore. The person has essentially become an instrument, moved by the Holy Spirit to do the right thing at the right time without even thinking about it. Which brings us to a final and honestly kind of mind-bending question. If your memory is gone, if your actions aren't even your own anymore, but are prompted by a divine will, then what's left of you? What is the self in that equation? And that question is really the core mystery of this whole path. It suggests that maybe the ultimate spiritual goal isn't about becoming a better version of yourself, but about emptying yourself out completely to make room for something else.